Today's tutorial will be on the one and only Kate Denali. So the first step in any makeup tutorial that I do is priming the eye. And we're just gonna put the primer all over the lid. This will help the shadows stick and not go everywhere. And I always do the eyes first to avoid any fallout, which would be any eyeshadow that catches underneath here, because then I can just wipe it away with a makeup wipe versus having to take off any foundation I've put down. I'm gonna go into this shade Chantilly from my new Lorac Pro 4 palette. However, any skin tone eyeshadow shade will work for this. I'm just setting the crease because we don't want shadows to stick there. It's a lot harder to blend them when they stick. Next we're gonna go into the shade Pecan from that same palette. It's just a little bit cool tone. And we're just gonna throw that in the crease. The eyeshadow look we're going for is more liner than anything. And then I'm gonna go back in with that first Chantilly shade and just lightly pat that on the lid because she doesn't really need anything there besides the eyeliner. Generally I'll go in with like a metallic shade and I want that to pop, so I won't set it with any eyeshadows until then. Okay, so next to start creating that like really smoky lash line, we're just gonna take a shade called Espresso from the Lorac Pro 1 palette, and we're just gonna start working that really close to the lash line. I don't wanna go straight in with black. That's the thing with working with dark shadows. You always wanna start with something not quite black, because you can always build up, but you cannot take it back down easily. And I'm kind of concentrating, when I first have product on there, I'm concentrating right up against the lash line and then kind of blending out as I go. And if it does get up a little bit too high, you can go ahead and take that primer brush, and if you just brush that anywhere that it got a little too high, you can take it down a little bit easier because this is still tacky, so it'll kind of hold on to the shadows. So now I'm going to take like a small angled liner brush and I'm going to go in with the black shade, and I'm just going to push this right up against the lash line. As you can see, there's going to be fallout right here, and that's okay because her face is not done yet. I'm not bringing it up onto the eye because we already have that blended, and we're going to keep blending that. And then I'm just going to take this clean brush and go over that, and that's just going to blend everything together so much more. We're going to go into a cream shade, and we're just going to go on top of everything. So next we're gonna do brows. Kate's eyebrows are blonde, a little bit dark. So we're just gonna start filling in Sam's natural brows. Okay, so next I'm gonna take some clear brow gel just to set that brow down. And we're not gonna fluff it up because Kate doesn't have very big eyebrows. So we're just kind of squishing her brows together. And I'm just gonna start on the other side. Next up, I'm gonna mix up some Vampire foundation for this beautiful lady. So we're gonna take this green shade right here, and I'm gonna take just a little bit, show you how much. We're gonna take just that tiny little baby amount, and we're gonna mix that in with her foundation. So we've got some foundation here, the L'Oreal True Match C1, and I'm just gonna mix that in with the green. The green is what's gonna help us color correct some of that redness.
How do you figure out which color you need to correct the colors on your face?
So if you just Google the color wheel, you would see that red and green are opposites of each other, so they cancel each other out. So if you have red underneath, you want to use green and cancel it out. Her under eye circles are kind of bluish, purplish, so I usually use an orange or peach, because that's the opposite on the color wheel. But we're just going to take the Beauty Blender, and this one's actually a Real Techniques beauty sponge, and this is just going to push the foundation like into your skin and make it blend better. You're not going to see any harsh like streak marks, which can be the issue often. For the neck, instead of pouncing it, because I don't really need like full coverage on the neck, I just drag it down just to make it blend with the rest of the foundation. And then if you have any acne spots, she uses it on her chin, and I already have green mixed in, and I don't use concealer. I'm just gonna dab the tiniest amount and dab it very lightly over top. And now I'm gonna mix up some for her under eyes. So I'm just gonna take what I have left and mix in a touch of the peach. And I don't even use a lot of foundation for this because I really like the consistency of the peach, but I don't want it to be straight up peach under her eyes. That wouldn't be very realistic. And just stay looking up because I'm gonna have to set that before it creases.
And when you're getting your makeup done, the best thing to do is find a spot on the ceiling and just stare at it.
So now I'm gonna take just a little bit of powder on the same damp beauty blender, and I'm just gonna gently push this into where we set her under eyes so they don't crease. So to set where that zit was, we are just gonna take some powder and I'm just gonna press it in and that will lock it into place. Okay, so next up, I'm going to start contouring. So we're gonna take this lightest shade here and I'm going to work with this brush. It's another airbrush brush from Sephora, number 56. It's my favorite one for cream contouring. So what I'm gonna do is have her look at me a little bit and we're just gonna go right where her cheekbone, like you'll notice that that is the highest point. You're gonna go right underneath it and up into the hairline. And I'm using this brush so gently. And we're just gonna do the same thing on this side. Very, very gentle on the face. I'm not like pressing in or anything. We're just slowly working this up. So for the next part of the contour with the vampires, I usually contour right here in the temples. And I'm also gonna take it right here along her forehead. So next I'm gonna contour the jawline. This is just something that we like to do to give them that really nice defined thin facial feature. Okay, so next I'm gonna take that same powder that we used to set her under eyes and her chin, and I'm gonna take that on a big fluffy brush, and we're just gonna tap it over her entire face. And I do this to help keep the makeup set all day, because if you don't set that powder, the foundation is like a liquid or a cream and that can move, which is fine in your everyday life. Like not everybody powders, but at FTF they're all over the place all day and we kind of need it to last. So the next step in contouring, I'm gonna have you look this way. We are going to take this Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette because this gray color is perfect and she made a huge pan size. When I run out, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do. But I'm gonna take this on an angled brush and I'm just gonna take it and lightly sweep up because we don't wanna drag her face further down. We just wanna keep that right here. Okay, and then we'll just brush over the temple and the forehead. And this just helps really emphasize that contour because if you use the cream and then just go over it with powder, it really takes it down. So this just gives it life again. Because Sam knows and loves me, she's gonna let me use my fingers on her, and I'm gonna use this Essence Strobing Highlighter Stick, and I'm just gonna put that along the cheekbones. And next we're gonna do a little bit of nose contouring. So for nose contour, I'm just taking the shade that we used for the face contour and I'm just bringing that along the side of her nose and blending down a little bit. And then I'm just gonna take a fluffier brush and go over all of that. And if you go a little too hard with your contour, go over it with some powder and that will just take it down and make it look more natural too. So for highlight, we're just gonna put that right where the light would touch her. I'm not gonna put too much highlighter on her chin because I don't want that zit to get textured again. Smaller brush with that same highlighter and we're gonna just go on her Cupid's bow. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the shade Pecan. So next, on a small pencil brush, I'm going to take the shade Espresso mixed with the shade Taupe just to make it not so dark, and she's going to look up again. And I'm just going to gently, turning my brush sideways, push that close to the lash line. And once most of the product is off, I'm actually gonna go right here to try to connect all the smokiness. Now we're gonna take just espresso on a thinner brush and we're gonna push that in just a little bit darker and also in that outer corner as well. And then we're gonna take one of my semi-clean brushes and just go underneath and blend. This character has nude lips, but they have a bit of red in them, so we're just gonna test out this shade. So I mixed a little bit of I'm Shook by Jeffree Star and Naked by Anastasia, because it was just a little too red, so we're gonna take it down just a notch. I don't use any lip liner because when I'm working with liquid lipstick, it's usually a good drying and staying power, so it doesn't need that extra step. Okay, and as the final step, we are just going to set her face with some setting spray. So go ahead and close your eyes. This is just going to help all of that makeup settle into the face and also give it some staying power. Okay, so we're going to go get into costume and we'll be right back. And here is the final look of Kate.
Jessica or Angela? Question mark?
No, I don't think we've even considered doing the friends.
We never have. That would be so fun.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever considered humans.
We never ever thought of the humans besides Bella.
Just get me a pair of glasses and we'll be fine. Angela has bangs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I could do that.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
true.
do that in the future.
in the maybe near future, who knows?
Yeah, right?
Alright, look at me. Having your eyes closed is nice, isn't it? Well, you're just like, okay. If I
just want to sleep.
Yep, every time you open your eyes, you're like, no.
Very true.
Because the thing with our
actually like
fans
it.
is no one is ever annoying. We love the attention, so keep it coming.
Exactly.
That's true.
This is where the term beating your face comes from.
That's a lie.
Being beaten.
Don't let her lie to you.
I'm craving orange chicken. If anyone's wondering. Made me open up and now I'm an independent person.
I am an independent woman.
I'm a strong, independent woman. This is our sparkle.
It's so
Here,
zoomed in.
here.
There you go. It's got to be like right next to her face. On her face works too.
I'm excited. This is the first time I've ever been a vampire.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, of course. And then I was like, wait, what?
No, why would I ever have to be a vampire?
That's true.
Yeah, no, this is a big step for me.
I don't know how I feel. All of a sudden, I'm really nervous. Turn to this side a little bit. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Is that highlight popping?
Oh my god.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
We'll just put this right here. The whole video.
Just do the typical. Oh, here's this. Oh, is it focusing?
Yeah.
Pecan.
Are you a real New Yorker or what?
I say pecan.
That's right.
I just wanted to throw that in your face.
Wow. Look up.
She can't even do it now.
This is gonna be a great video to edit.
This is a great way to end a live stream as well.
Pecan.
No.
Who says pecan?
West Coast people. We are not them.
No, we are not. How do you
true.
pronounce the state under Washington?
Oregon.
I do too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a New York
Oregon.
thing. Well,
There's an O. I like to judge how the makeup's gonna look by how it feels on my face. Like I try to interpret it in my head, and right now I feel like a raccoon.
Okay. Okay, this has been driving me crazy. How do you talk to your siblings? Hello, what do you call them? Hello.
Hello, shalloons.
Thank you. It's been driving me crazy. Okay, go. Hello. Wait, let's do that again. So today's tutorial is going to be on the one and only Kate Denali.